going on? You Don't Know Ball podcast. Welcome back to the show. It's just Caleb and I today. Alex and Jack decided to be busy. Alex is currently coaching, so he's beating on Galesburg pretty bad. So
Yeah.
good for the kid. But we're still gonna bring you out some college football content for this upcoming week's games. Let's talk a little bit about last week. We were terrible last week. So
we were. I see a lot of red there. It was kind of sad, and I figured once Baylor lost, because I had looked at the score and I saw they were losing, I was like, well, great. And it just kind of started a landslide for me on my side. You got the Arizona pick right, which,
right.
The only reason I picked Hawaii was because I didn't want us to have the same things, but I should have just went with, because
you should have went with the logical choice. I mean, it's Hawaii. So you guys.
Well, my thing was they were coming off. I thought my reasoning was okay because they were coming in off a win, especially against Stanford. So if they beat Stanford, I thought maybe they could at least not lose to Arizona by more than 18 points. That was my logic there, but they got blown out by like 30 or something like that.
Yeah, well, I didn't even see what the final score of that game was. What was it?
I think it was like 45-12 or 45-17 or something like that. So
yeah. I mean.
Oh well.
We of course got the Texas-Ohio State game wrong. I got the Baylor game wrong. So did Caleb. So that was a tough look for us. Clemson, LSU, we all got wrong, and then of course Notre Dame Fighting Irish lost too. So that really capped off my weekend. So that was pretty great.
Hey, you're still repping the kids though. I mean, I will say we can dive into that game if you want, because I'm sure you have a lot to say. And I think I have a couple opinions as well. But if you want to talk about the Notre Dame game a little bit, we can.
Yeah, I could. I'll put in some just short notes on my end. I thought CJ Carr looked good for his first start. He played well. He had 3 total touchdowns. He only threw 1 pick, which was kind of like a wild interception that really shouldn't have happened. But what can you do? And then I thought our O-line kind of got pushed around, so we got to address that before we go play Texas A&M, not this weekend, but next weekend. And then our defense, it looked like it got bullied for about 3 quarters, and then that last quarter, I guess halfway through the third, we started to come alive and really shut them down. So, I mean, I have hope for the season. I know there's a lot of people worried about the Irish this year going 9-3 or 8-4 or whatever, but I don't see that. I think they're gonna rebound. They're gonna be a good team. I think they go 11-1. So, I mean, our predictions from earlier this year are already wrong, so it can't get much worse.
Yeah.
but it's good. But we'll see what happens the rest of the season.
I think, that game, I will say about that interception, that was the most Looney Tunes ass interception I've ever seen in my life. I think.
Yeah.
Also, this was what I mentioned with Notre Dame. The reason I picked them to win was because I really thought they were going to stick to the run game. And I understand, Miami's defense is completely overhauled. So, their defense was good. I give Miami props, too.
Yeah,
because who says if Notre Dame sticks to the run, I thought they would? I feel like they relied a lot on CJ Carr, especially in the first half. You give Jeremiah Love, a Heisman candidate, only 6 carries in the first half. He ends the game with 10 carries and 60-something yards or something like that. Not a bad game by any means, especially against Miami. But for a Heisman candidate, you got to give that boy the rock more.
Let's just give our All-American the rock, please, for the love of God. And we can't have a true freshman having 30 attempts passing. We've never had a Notre Dame quarterback attempt 30-plus pass attempts in a game since, Brady Quinn. And he's a freshman. So I guess, I don't know. I would have loved to see more touches for Love. But, move on to next week, I guess. We'll see what happens if the game plan changes.
I will say, I think, they relied too much on Carr in the beginning, which made them rely on him more on the end. And I think that's why his stats kind of bounced back, especially, the 3 touchdowns. His running game is really well. He's smart. I can tell he's very poised. He knows what to do on those read options, and he's a strong runner. He's very very disciplined and not afraid of contact with guys like the big boys that Miami has on for their linebackers and D line. But, at the end of the day, Miami, they also had a catch of the year candidate for one of their touchdowns. So, that catch that wide receiver made was crazy. And then
Yeah, that
I
was
thought,
nuts.
yeah. Notre Dame had a really good catch though too, and
Yeah,
Miami left the door open, but end of the day, the kicker makes a game-winning field goal, and it is what it is. You move on to
yeah,
next week. So
yeah. That game did. Of course, it didn't end up as well as I wanted to do. Like end up in my fandom, but it was a good. I think it's a good lesson learned moment for that team. So we'll see how they carry themselves the rest of the season.
yeah, absolutely, and it's not like you mentioned. Like I don't know why Notre Dame fans should have nothing to worry about. Like this is one of those games where you can lose and they'll be just fine. Like I'm not even sure how much they dropped. Like I don't know what they're ranked right now, but
They're ranked
they're still going
ninth,
to be.
so
Oh yeah,
yeah,
they're
it shouldn't
fine
happen.
because they're going to win out. They're going to win out. I
Right,
don't. This was the only game that I was worried about, and I think they honestly kind of beat themselves. So
right. Yep, I absolutely agree. So yeah, so that's I'm not gonna go too much deeper into that game. I think we got what we wanted to say on the recorded and put out there. So maybe give the ball to love. That's all. That's what I'm gonna wrap it up with. But
yeah, he's going to need a lot more carries and a couple good games to make up for that one. The
yeah,
coach
that was a
just kind
tough
of
look.
screwed him over, I think, though.
That was a tough look.
But
That was definitely a tough look. But whatever. But let's focus on this week. Uh, Caleb and Alex and Jack didn't really put any games. I didn't put any games this week. But
I filled in. I mean,
yeah,
I was bored, so
yeah,
I
I
filled them in. I
appreciate
think
it.
I picked the pretty good slate here of games that aren't going to be obvious, and I feel like Michigan Oklahoma is really the only like one that matters here in the grand
Yeah,
scheme of things. But in terms of being a college football, primary sport podcast, like I think we need to get as much coverage to other teams as possible. So that's why you see James Madison and Louisville or Western Kentucky and Toledo. We're trying to cover as many conferences and teams as possible, and also it gives us a chance to watch games we wouldn't normally watch as well. Like
for sure.
I've never watched a Toledo game in my life, but this week, boy oh boy,
Might
I'm watching Toledo, Western Kentucky, baby.
might be a Toledo fan this week. That's kind of funny. But yeah, I mean, it'll be good to talk about these teams that might not get as much love. It's definitely not as high quality as last week's games. So we'll see. That of course that Michigan Oklahoma one is gonna be really good. So it's gonna be fun. Still gonna be a fun week. Still college football, so it's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yeah, it really is. And I think, if you don't want to talk about any of the other games above, I will say the LSU Clemson game, great game. It's a shame that either of those teams had to lose. And then Texas, Arch, we have a problem. He just did not look as good as I thought he was going to look. So that was kind of surprising. So, I mean,
He'll be good. He'll be
it is what
fine.
it is.
It was his first start against a really good team. So shout out to Matt Patricia. I didn't really think he got that in his bag. So that was good. It was good to see that he's actually somewhat of a relevant football coach. So
Yeah, right.
we'll
Well,
see what happens.
when you have so much
Right.
talent, when he came to the Lions, he had nothing compared to
Right.
what else the league had. So,
Yeah. It
you
was.
never know. It could just be high end talent bailing him out too.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how the rest of the season turns out. I mean, I'm sure they're both really good teams. So they're gonna end up being fine. But Ohio State's now new number one. So we'll see how long they can keep that ranking.
All right, let's do it. Do you want to head into James Madison and Louisville first?
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. So this game's a Friday night. We got James Madison at Louisville, and we're not doing the money line here because Louisville's favored to win this game. Obviously, it's I think I don't even know if they're ACC, and then so you have for this game you have the like best of the Sun Belt versus a pretty decent Louisville team in the ACC. So when you're just comparing conferences, you would think maybe this game would be a little closer, but with it being at home, it's a night game for Louisville. They just had another win at home the week before this. So I think the question for James Madison is like, they rely a lot on their passing. They do a lot of option, sort of trick play stuff. And they destroyed the FCS team they played the week before. but is that going to be enough to keep up with Louisville's run game, their defense at home, night game? Personally, I don't think so. So I'm taking Louisville to cover the spread against them. I think they'll win by 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, I mean, I like Louisville in this game too. I think Miller Moss is going to be really good. Again, this week he proved to be a solid quarterback last week, and then of course they have one of the better running backs, and I think his name's Isaac Brown. So he's a. I like Louisville by 2 touchdowns here too. I think they cover. So
Absolutely. I think this is a good safe pick to start with, at least, because I got some pretty hot takes coming up. For Alex and Jack, though, because they missed today's episode, we are going to do a coin flip. So we will see what happens here for Alex. We'll do Alex first. So we'll do
all right,
heads. Heads is Louisville covers. Tails is James Madison covers.
let's see it.
Wait, flip again. Tails. Oh boy.
Oh man.
Alex is going with James Madison to cover.
Oh man, Alex is gonna be a little ballsy for you.
I'm sure he'll really like this pick. Okay.
I'm almost
And then
positive he loves it.
yeah, we'll go with that is the kind of take Alex would probably say. Watch him be right.
He'd be like,
And
"That's
that
Signetti's old school. Give me JMU." Oh, JMU.
Jack also got JMU, so James Madison getting some love here on the You Don't Know Ball podcast. We'll see. We'll
Oh
see who
man.
doesn't know ball.
Well, obviously it looks like all of us because if you look about above that table, because what the f is happened last week?
Yeah.
Oh
So,
man.
so this next game we got on the docket, we got a MAC versus Big 12 matchup. West Virginia at Ohio. And you can lead off with this game if you want. You can make your pick, but West Virginia's favored at minus 150 for the money line, but it is in Ohio, so
I'm gonna take West Virginia here. I think his name is Mike Wright or no, I don't. What's that guy? Whatever. West Virginia brought back one of their former coaches. And I think he's trying to like revamp that program. And I think they got to win last week, so I'm gonna take West
yeah.
Virginia money line in this game.
No, that's fair. I think I know who you're talking about. I don't know the coach's name, but he coached there from like the late 90s or something like that to
Yeah,
'07, and they were
yeah.
a great team. And then he
Went to
recently
Miami,
came.
didn't he? I think he went to Miami at one point.
I don't know where he went in between, but I know he's like back and he wants to definitely take the program back because I mean West Virginia, like they used to be a really good school, and that's where that oh God,
Tavon
everyone's
Austin.
gonna yes, everyone's gonna flame me for not knowing his name, but I mean that's where he went, and West Virginia could has owes their fame to that dude, so
Yeah.
or at least for the last like 12 years or so, but. Honestly, I think this game's a lot more interesting when you dive deeper and look at last week's games because West Virginia, they did kind of blow out who they were playing, but they looked really sloppy in the first half. They had 3 fumbles on like 4 straight plays on offense or something like that. Um, so they just looked really sloppy. They ended up getting it together as good teams do in the second half and blowing their team out. But against an FCS school, you just never know how that's actually going to turn out against a real school like Ohio. And I say real school because they're one of the best teams in the MAC. They're probably competing for the MAC championship again this
Right.
year,
Yep.
and they did win it last year. And they took Rutgers down to the wire last week too. So
Yeah, they
um,
did.
that was in Rutgers. And say what you want about Rutgers program, they're probably middle of the pack, bottom Big Ten, middle of the pack, whatever you want to call them. But I just think Ohio being at home uh, gives them a chance to at least make this a toss-up game between West Virginia. It can kind of turn it into a trap game for them. And the question is, like, can West Virginia's defense, it's obviously way better than Ohio's defense, contain Ohio's quarterback? His name's Parker Navarro. He's really good. Dual threat quarterback, good with his legs, can throw on the run. And he gave Rutgers a problem last week. So West Virginia's defense, they're playing a real team this week. So I don't know. With them being at home, Ohio might have a lot more swagger, a lot more confidence to come in. But my head's telling me pick West Virginia, so that's why I'm going to go Ohio because last week I picked all those picks earlier with my head, got them all wrong. So I'm going with Ohio purely because I think West Virginia will win, but I'm pulling reverse psychology on myself.
Yeah. I
So,
don't hate that. I don't hate that pick. I mean, I would have. I think if it was last year, I would have taken Ohio this for this game because they had Braden Craig, one of my friends from Olivet, had a
oh,
former
cool,
teammate.
cool.
Yeah, former teammate Anthony Tyus played there, so A Train is what I used to call him. But nah, I'm still going West Virginia here. New Year.
Valid, valid. All right, I'll make the picks for the fellas. We'll go heads is West Virginia, tails is Ohio. Alex gets heads, so he is tailing you with West Virginia.
All right, Al.
He's gonna look at this and be like, "What the?" And then Jack gets tails. So Jack and I are both picking Ohio.
Nice,
Which I
nice.
honestly, it would be a pretty crazy upset if Ohio wins that. But
Yeah, it'd be nuts. That'd be nuts. But I'm kind of not surprised after what happened last week. So
we'll see. We'll see. I'm just surprised West Virginia is not higher favorites. You'd think they'd at least be like 200, but
yeah,
you
for
know.
a Big 12 school, yeah, for sure.
But this game is also interesting. Mountain West and Pac-12, and more like Pac-2 because there's only two teams in the Pac-12 this year. But Fresno State and Oregon State, and I can start off with this one. We talked about, I think a couple weeks ago we mentioned Cal, and you mentioned how they weren't that good of a school. And then they go into Oregon State, and their 18-year-old quarterback absolutely slings the rock against them. I mean, that dude went crazy. So Cal now has their quarterback of the future. And say what you want about it being against Oregon State, but that just made me think for this game this week, their defense looked horrible, and they gave up a lot of yardage in the run, gave up a lot of yardage in the pass. Fresno State has two very good running backs. One's good for elusiveness and speed. The other's kind of a power back, so they got a little David Montgomery, Jameer Gibbs action going on there. And I think their matchup for Fresno State works really well for them in this game, even though it is at Oregon State. And Oregon State, might they could feel like their backs against the wall a little bit, and we'll just see how they respond in this game after getting blown out by Cal. And Fresno State's coming in off a win. They did get blown out by Kansas in week one, but coming in with momentum always helps. So I'm picking Fresno State to win this game, even though they both have quarterback issues. But I just like the away team here.
I'm trying to remember who the quarterback was for Oregon State this year. He was the former
It's
Duke
Murphy.
quarterback.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
Malik
Murphy.
Murphy, right? Wow,
Yep.
I didn't really pay attention. I heard about the Cal game. I didn't know they played Oregon State. I guess Malik Murphy didn't play out all that well last week, but
He really didn't. I watched the game, and I mean, I don't. They got to change up their playbook because Murphy just didn't look comfortable in it at all, and he just couldn't get the ball to
yeah,
his receivers. It seemed like, or maybe it was just the Cal defense too. We can't forget that Cal is a member of the ACC, so I mean, like they got to be able to keep up somehow. So,
yeah. And
uh, their roster's overhauled, and obviously they're probably better than Oregon State everywhere around, but still, you want your transfer QB to at least do something.
right. I figured that he would play a little bit better. He should have never left Duke, but whatever. Can't. I'm also gonna go Fresno State here. I think I Cal is supposed to be one of the worst teams in the ACC, and to say that they shredded them on defense, it's not a good look. I don't like that at all. And Malik Murphy didn't look comfortable, so let's just see what Fresno State can pull off here for this
Right.
week.
And like I said, I mean, it really does all just depend on how Oregon State's whole team responds. Like I mentioned, their defense was garbage against Cal, but also like Fresno State, put them against Oregon State, an actual team, unlike the FCS school they played last week. And who knows, maybe their run game just deteriorates. But I don't know. Just against Cal, like they were getting whatever they wanted. Uh, so it kind of doesn't leaves a sour taste in my mouth for the Oregon State chances, and I'm really surprised they're favored this well in that in
That's
that
a
game.
it's a depleted Cal team too. So I mean, they didn't really show much against a team that's supposed to be one of the worst in the conference. So yeah, Fresno State for me.
Right. And Fresno State, like I mentioned with Notre Dame last week, the reason I'm picking them is because they have to lean on the run. Fresno State's quarterback has thrown 4 interceptions, no touchdowns throughout these 2 games that he's played so far. So I'm really nervous for that because Oregon State seems like they're really bad against the run, and they're really bad against the pass too. So maybe this is Fresno State's quarterback's
So
chance to sort of
hopefully,
get some
so
touch,
what you're
or throwing touchdowns in.
so what you're saying is that you hope that Fresno State doesn't get too greedy and just ditch the run game. So
Yes,
obviously they're gonna have to stick with the run if they want to pull away with this one. But
exactly. So let's see what Jack and Alex are picking here. Go Alex first. Heads is Oklahoma or Oregon State, and he got heads. So honestly, not a bad pick here. Like I said, all these games are kind of like toss ups. Um, makes us really test our knowledge of ball
right,
and just give good reasoning for why we're picking what we're picking. And Jack is tails. He's going Fresno State with us.
Alex is gonna look back at like this chart and be like, man, why have I all the opposite picks? Be like, don't worry about it.
This is the only one he's
Yeah, I
the
mean
odd one out on, but yeah.
he's a lone
Okay,
wolf in
not
this one.
now. I'm definitely giving Alex Michigan here because
Yeah,
we know that's what he would pick. But
it's pretty much a
I'm
guarantee.
I'm really curious to hear what you have to say about this game because this game probably was the hardest one to pick for me out of this week.
Yeah, it still is. I mean, obviously Bryce Underwood looked every single thing of the part last week. He was a baller, made some really good throws, was a even led a block for a touchdown. He just looked like an all around good quarterback. But John Mateer for Oklahoma also had a really good week, and so did Oklahoma as a team in general. So it's gonna be. It's. I feel like it's a little like it's balanced. It's a balanced playing field, of course. I mean, I think the edge for D line goes to Oklahoma. I think the quarterback edge goes to Oklahoma. I think the running back edge goes to Michigan. I think the receiver room, it's pretty even. I think I'd go with Michigan's though. So and the tight end room. So it's going to be a really good game. And fuck, dude, I don't know.
It's tough, dude. It's tough.
And they're at Norman. So I think I'm gonna back it up and do what I say what I said earlier in the year. I'm gonna say Michigan wins this one barely by like three.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's my take.
If I
Let's
type
see
it,
what
it's
happens.
locked in.
It's locked in. Lock it.
All right. Isaac backing his brother up by picking Michigan. So for me, I think a lot of the same things you do, but also I'm very surprised that Oklahoma is this favored in this game. I
Yeah.
can't believe what the bettors are thinking. I don't think I don't think it's minus 195 that they're gonna win this game outright. Because I watched the game they played last week against, I think it was like Illinois State or North Illinois State or something like that. I just didn't look that convinced, to be honest. It kind of took them a while to get going, as FCS schools do. They kind of hang in the first quarter, first half of the game sometimes, and then they kind of just get dead legs, and all the talent just kind of takes over for the FBS schools. Um, but I think it just wasn't enough to convince me that they could beat Michigan, and that's what all the comments were saying in the YouTube video that I watched too. It's like, I'll be convinced of this team if they beat Michigan or once they beat Michigan. But one thing about their defense that I liked was they were really good at tackling. It's kind of a lost art nowadays in college football. A lot of quarterbacks and linebackers will leave their feet and, try to make a cool play or, just go dive for the legs and they'll miss. And against Illinois State, they were not doing that. There was not guys bouncing off tackles and getting a few extra yards. They were just getting to them, doing some blue collar work, getting them boys down and, stopping a play. So, um, another thing about their whole team is they have 63 new players. So can that gel quicker enough to beat Michigan's team of, not 63 new players? I don't know. Uh, and Michigan's defense against quarterbacks is really good. So I think Mateer is going to have a lot more trouble than Underwood will.
I
I
think
think. Oh, go ahead.
I think the why the spread is so heavy towards Oklahoma this week is because Michigan's defense didn't really put out the best performance last week, and Oklahoma's did. Michigan gave up 17 points against a lesser power team, but if you really look back at the film, they had to use two trick plays to score, and the refs pretty much handed another touchdown to them. So, or not touchdown, but bunch of points. So I still like Oklahoma's defense more than Michigan's in this case, but I also like Michigan's offense more than I like. I don't know. I I'm just gonna go. I have a gut feeling that Michigan's gonna pull this one on. They're gonna come out ready to play. So it's pretty even for
Yeah.
me.
Well, we know Michigan's going to come out ready to play, even if it does begin like, 14 or 21-0 Oklahoma. I can see Michigan coming back and even
Yeah.
stealing this game if that does happen, because that's just what Michigan does. I feel like Michigan never gets blown out. I feel like they have too good of a program, too good of talent. They have the best recruit in the country on their team leading them, and I just don't see them, you know, being out of this game or that much favored over Oklahoma. And I think their defense is very, very solid too. And, it's going to be way, way better than what Illinois State showed them last week. So Oklahoma might get, punched in the mouth to start this game. And for me, I think everything points to Michigan. Like Michigan's the safe pick here, but I'm going to go against what my head thinks again and take Oklahoma
Yeah.
because that's just what, based off my results last week, I can't trust myself. So I'm going to go with Oklahoma this game.
Yeah, I don't even hate on that pick. I feel like it's a good pick for you, and I honestly would make that pick, but I don't know. Something's telling me in my head that maybe it'll be Michigan this week. So, and that is Sharon Moore's alma mater. So I think he's gonna come up with a little bit more extra juice to get the
Mm,
job done.
yeah, yeah, we'll see. And also, it's like you can say like Mitsier could win the QB battle as well, but dude, he looked like he got bailed out so much by just having a way better team, especially against Illinois State. I mean, the only reason he threw a pick in that game, a pick on an easy play, easy should have been an easy throw, and that it shouldn't happen against the FCS school. So that also makes me nervous for this pick as well. But it's locked in now, so it's whatever. We'll see what.
Yeah,
Oh, go
it'll
ahead.
be interesting. It'll be interesting. I guess we'll see how the defenses play in this game.
Let's see what Jack picks here. Heads. So he's going to Oklahoma with me. Okay.
Yep.
All right, Jack. I do wonder if he would have picked that if he was here.
I'm sure he would. I'm sure if we gave him a chance, he would. But he'll be one of those guys. Be like, God, give me Oklahoma, and then he won't give
Yeah,
any
no, yeah,
any reasoning behind it. And be like, why are you picking Oklahoma? He's like, well, because they're red. Like, all right,
something like that.
got it.
Yeah, or he'll be like, they got this one guy on their team.
That doesn't even go there anymore. But whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
All right,
all right.
next last game of the week here. We got a Conference USA game. There wasn't too many to pick from, but we have the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers versus the Toledo Rockets in Toledo. Toledo is favored, the highest of any games we put in so far for the money line at -280. But um, I think this game's more of a trap game than we think, and I guess I'll just start because I like Western Kentucky's squad a lot. They have Maverick McIver at quarterback. He's the hottest quarterback in college football right now. He's entering this game with 700 yards thrown already, 8 touchdowns already. And granted, it is against pretty well. One of the games was an in-conference game against Sam Houston, so we can't let that fly under the radar. But last week it was against northeastern Iowa or something like that. It was wild, wild FCS school, but. Um, Either way, this dude's slinging the rock, and I think Toledo they put up a really good fight against Kentucky too, and they're supposed to be contending for the MAC. So I think this is going to be a really good showdown between two solid programs in both of their respective conferences. And I'm surprised Toledo's favored this much, but maybe totally spelled their name wrong, but it's whatever.
We'll
Um,
never know.
Toldio. But yeah, do you have anything to say about this game? I got to look at my notes. See if I'm
You
forgetting
know,
anything.
at first I was thinking Toledo to pick here because it's a MAC school and they're usually pretty good in the MAC. Uh, they're one of the top teams in the MAC conference. But it really sold me on Western Kentucky, especially with their quarterback. I like the stat you read off there. So I think I'm gonna take Western Kentucky here. Going against my head, taking your route.
That's
So
fair.
so yeah,
That's very fair. That's very fair. Because like I've been saying, I think everything points to Toledo winning this game. They're at home. Their defense against Kentucky last week did really, really well against uh, experienced quarterback, and I think his name's Zach Calzada out of Kentucky. But dude
oh
only
yeah,
threw for 80. Dude only threw for 85 yards and threw an interception. So, I mean, the Toledo defense at home should be able to shut down Maverick McIver and this Western Kentucky offense. But um, like everything points to Toledo winning this game, but I can't do that. I'm going to go Western Kentucky here as
yep.
well. So
Can't even hate on that.
because yeah, I can that way I know if I do get it wrong, I was right. So then next week I can start fresh again. So
Yep.
we'll see. But I also like Maverick McIver. Sometimes your defense just isn't good enough to stop a quarterback that's on fire like this. So
Yeah.
who knows?
It'll be interesting to see this game how it pans out. So
It gives us
give
a
me
good
West
excuse
Kentucky.
to watch a Conference USA game too. Because I mean,
Yeah.
I don't think I've ever watched one before. So
Yeah. I mean, I've watched one in Memphis, but that's about it. But they're in the ACC now. No, they're in the. Yeah, they're in the ACC. Maybe they're in the Conference USA. I don't know. I can't remember.
yeah, I'll definitely be tuning into more Conference USA once basketball comes around. Because like it wasn't too hard for me to get into college football this year. I thought it would be more difficult, but no, I'm locked in now.
Locked in. It's pretty
um,
fun.
it is fun. Let's see if anyone gets Toledo.
Jack's gonna get Toledo.
Jack got Toledo. You know what? He would probably pick Toledo too.
Yeah, because they're in the same conference as Western, so he'd probably pick them. These boys play.
uh,
Oh, I didn't know. Jack was playing Western Kentucky this week.
he's wait, what?
Look at this spreadsheet.
Oh shoot! I sorry, I don't know why I don't know why I did that. Toledo, and then I just did the flip for Alex. He got Western Kentucky.
Gotcha.
So we have three of us picking the upset. But you know what I like about this week is none of us four are all picking the same team for anything. So no matter what, there will be someone winning it, getting the
Yeah,
green, and so one of these games.
yeah.
So I think I've set myself up well to hopefully sneak at least two this week. We
Yeah,
can go up from here. Thank God for Louisiana Monroe blowing out St. Francis.
yeah. That was clutch for about all three of us. Jack, I don't know what Jack was thinking. Like, he did get the Auburn game right, and I didn't. So, I mean, Jack and Alex were the losers of the week. No wait, Jack and Jack were the losers of the week last week. So
Yeah, yeah. Here, I'll scroll over to the right and wrong so you can look at that.
see it. Oh, by me, I gotta do it. My bad.
No, you're good.
See if I can figure it out. There we go. Oh, come on, don't freeze. Here we go.
Don't freeze on us now. There we go. So
Oh my
yeah,
god.
this is extra little bonus stats over here. I forgot to ask what the followers said, so I don't know how you would be able to send me those poll results, but
Oh yeah, I forgot
we
to.
can add followers to this if we want. But so far, Isaac and Alex are both tied at 2 and 5. They're at 28% correct. So I mean, if you want to tail them, it's a little bit of a risk. And then Jack and I are at 1 and 6.
Okay,
We're
well,
one for
let's look at
seven.
1 and 6.
I know. I know. I was gonna say it's an even worse risk if you want to go with Jack or me. So,
At least we live
but
up to
yeah,
that
no,
name.
right, right. So hopefully this week we can do a little bit better. And I will say my favorite game. I didn't think I mentioned it earlier, but LSU Clemson. I thought that game was incredible. You can't really beat Clemson at night. That atmosphere, and I just thought like the jerseys they were wearing were super clean, and just seeing the classic LSU away jerseys and stuff really reminded me of 2019 and 2020. When they had Joe Burrow and were really good, and Clemson was still good, and you just had really good I think they're in the SEC.
Clemson is in the ACC. LSU is in the SEC.
Okay, so I got one of them right. But yeah, just that
Yep.
classic, Battle of Death Valley matchup. It's always good to see, and this year did not disappoint. So
Yep. No, that
yeah,
was a really good game. I'm still gonna go with the Miami Notre Dame game. I thought it was a really good game, even though.
that I had that one typed on there. I had that one typed on there, but I changed it. I was like, dang, bro, like we got
You know
spoiled
what?
week one.
Yeah, we did. We did. You know what? I'm not doing a favorite game last week. No, I don't know. I think my favorite game would have to be LSU Clemson. That was a good game. It was a fun one to watch.
So you're gonna put that one in as yours for now.
Yep.
All right, I'll copy and paste it for you.
Alex is gonna be
I think,
Michigan.
yeah.
And then, of course, I think Jack's Bama team got absolutely steamrolled by Florida
Oh
State.
yeah, could talk about that a little bit. I mean, that was dude, the fact that we all got most of our like rapid fire picks at the end wrong too was crazy.
Yeah, we did terrible last week. That's on us at this point. But
Honestly though, is it on us? I feel like week one is the hardest to predict out of like
yeah,
because you have nothing to go off of. This week I think we should get more right just because we have things to go off of from the week before. We're
yep,
going off last season. We're going off players we haven't seen play for them unless you're a diehard fan watching like training camp and stuff. Week one is super hard to predict. And if you look at the scores, like all these games are within one score. LSU Clemson,
yeah.
Notre Dame Miami,
Not
Texas
Bama
Ohio State.
FSU. Not Bama FSU though. Florida State
Oh
actually
yeah.
just. I saw a post on Instagram. It said like Alabama was too gay to beat Florida State. So
What?
it's something like that. I'm like, this is just ridiculous, but
No,
it was
no.
so funny.
Do you think Kalen DeBoer's tenure in Alabama is done after this year? If they don't make
It's
the
uh,
playoffs?
it's it's definitely on the hot seat right now. It's definitely on the hot
Yeah,
seat.
right now for sure, for sure. It was on the hot seat at the end of last year.
Yeah, yeah. If he finishes the season 8-5, 9-3, and misses the playoffs, he's out. He'll be gone. John Gruden
Yeah,
would take that spot.
yeah. Or Nick Saban comes out of retirement, but yeah, it's
Yeah,
crazy how just losing your head coach. You saw it with Michigan too, like how bad they
yeah.
were. Not they weren't bad by any means, but like just
Rome fell.
not up to par
Yeah,
without Harbaugh.
yeah.
So
For
yeah,
sure.
coaches and culture makes a huge
Huge
difference.
difference. Rome is falling right before our eyes, so it's
Hmm.
definitely something.
It is, and that's kind of what you need nowadays in college football. The way the transfer portal's changed everything, I feel like it's with how fast players move now, you see coaches moving a lot faster too. They get traded around like a vape at a party. It's kind of crazy. So, uh, but yeah, I'm excited for these games this week. I think the one I'm looking forward to the most, unironically, is probably Western Kentucky at Toledo. I'm excited to actually watch this Maverick McIver guy in action because I've only seen the highlights, so watching him live will be cool. And
Yeah,
when I have my odds directed towards him,
for sure. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see that game. I think I'm still gonna go Michigan and Oklahoma is a game to watch for me this week.
oh,
So
absolutely,
it'll be fun.
absolutely, it will be fun. Should we do our players of the week and then get out of here?
Yeah. So the Mall City uh this segment is sponsored by Mall City Mechanical. The You Don't Know Ball Players of the Week for Caleb and I. My player is gonna be so many good ones. I guess. I'll just go. I'll just say it. I think Carson Beck is definitely one of the players that should be up there. He uh he willed his Miami team to a win. He proved everybody wrong. He's still a really good quarterback in college football. But it's only week one, so we'll see what happens. But Carson Beck won is a game of the week for me. Player of the week. Sorry.
Yeah, Carson Beck definitely proved a lot of people wrong with that performance. I think he played a nice, clean game. He was a good game manager up until the end there. I think he could have turned on his clutch factor a little bit more. He did deliver a ball to what could be the catch of the year. That was a crazy way to start the year, and I'm sure carried momentum throughout the rest of the game. Yeah, I just think he needs to do a little bit more at the end of games for sure. But
Sure.
um, you can't go wrong with beating Notre Dame regardless. So
Yep.
I like the pick. I definitely was not expecting that.
Yeah, I gotta
For
be humble.
me, yeah, for me, I think um, I'm between two guys, but I think I'm gonna go with the game that was closer and was more of a battle. Haynes King, the quarterback for Georgia Tech, he had a crazy day for them against Colorado in their win, 27-20. In an away game, in a game where he fumbled to start off the game, in a game where Colorado was pretty much winning the whole time. Georgia Tech, they were led by Haynes King, and he just dominated on the ground. He dominated throwing after the fumble. He carried them on his back to win that game in the final minutes with a long touchdown run. And he's just everything you want out of a starting quarterback nowadays in college football. College football, he's got experience, he's got height, he's got heart, he's got an arm, and he's got no fear when running the ball and leading his team to a winning drive in a night game when they're not the home team. So that was
Right.
really impressive.
Yep, especially how that game started for Georgia Tech. So that's
Yeah,
definitely
yeah,
definitely a good pick.
right. And then you watched the USF game, right? Their quarterback's insane.
Yeah, he's nuts. Byron Brown, I think is his name, or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah,
But he's a
yeah.
he's a dog. That game,
He,
that he just absolutely just ran over Boise State. Just every single, just dominated them.
yeah, I will say for until that Georgia Tech game happened, Byron Brown was my easy pick, just
Yep.
because dude's like a running back playing quarterback, and
Yeah,
his throw looks a little wonky, but dude, he can sling that thing. It's crazy.
he definitely does more of his damage on the ground. But he's a if he can stay healthy, he's gonna be one of the more dangerous quarterbacks in college football this year.
Oh, I agree. I agree. They're a fun team to watch too, man. Their defense shut Boise down
Yeah,
after that first drive. They didn't let them have anything.
yeah,
So
they didn't do anything. So yeah, I think that's gonna wrap it up for this week's episode. It's a good little short episode for you for week 2 of college football, our games of the week. So put in your parlays as you will. Obviously, we have a 28% winning chance or a 14% winning chance. So I don't know how much you should listen to us, but
hey, just know the only way is up from here.
only way is
So
up for sure.
hop on the train while you can.
Hop on the train. But all right, that's gonna do it for us this week. Remember, we don't know ball, you don't know ball, we all don't know ball. We'll see you next week.
Peace.